rebound. I mean, they're not a great rebounding team, but if you give them second and third opportunities, eventually they're going to hurt you.
Parker, little show and go in the lane. Tony Parker, the second leading scorer for San Antonio. And San Antonio also +3 in the rebounding category as Duncan works against Paulus.
And that is his first chance to score, and he finishes. So Duncan finally on the board.
Pippen, who had 5 steals against Miami.
Tough play, Duncan.
And Duncan on the other end. Steve Smith and Bonzi Wells. Now Duncan against Sabonis. Duncan with the elevation and
by Derek Anderson. Pippen will go to Ginobili. They want a little bit of a quicker defender on Parker and take away some of that lane penetration. Fellas?
Bonzi on the post up against Steve Smith. Duncan blocks it out of bounds. Duncan, the leading shot blocker in the NBA at almost 3 a game.
Got a good deep post position, but you watch the people come to Bonzi Wells and Duncan.
4th team foul against San Antonio. Ginobili against Pippen. Sabonis flashes through and has it knocked out of his hand by Duncan. Tony Parker, who hurt the Blazers in the first quarter, brings it to Duncan against Dale Davis. And Duncan, like Shaquille O'Neal, when he catches that deep. Here in the second quarter.
They got a smaller, quicker team out on the floor, and Cheeks wants to match up. They come to Duncan again right at the rim. Scoreboard.
Patterson wants to work against Rose, gets the bump, scoops, can't score.
Now, sometimes Rubin doesn't go in with the idea of finishing. Pippen, great save, but Duncan is there to put it away.
But Steve, we talked about the benches at the top of the telecast, and although no bench players on the floor right now, we'll need to scratch and claw down 9.
You know that San Antonio is going to try to keep Wallace from getting started. They're going to double him. Duncan with the block.
Bonzi Wells coming off the bench.
This is the guy that they got to get under control because he is beating them with penetration, and that gives Duncan a chance to go single, to jump all over Kerr, and Kerr said no, which was the right thing because he wouldn't have gotten it over.
No. 12 on the shot clock. Duncan against Dale Davis. Duncan fouled on the release. Rims off long to Tony Parker. Bowen. You just cannot leave him open at 47%. Bowen. DA runs at him. Parker thought about a 3. Pippen flies at him. Ginobili, a crossover and a spin. Duncan, 3 on the shot clock.
Now that's their guy.
Blazers by 4. Duncan against Davis. 8 to shoot. Duncan's runner is in and one. That is why he's an NBA All-Star and a former most valuable player. Dale Davis, his second foul. 3-point opportunity for Tim Duncan.
This is a tough play, and Duncan gives a little fake and then gets some room and takes the little collision. Now, everybody has to play within themselves, and they have to be themselves. And his personality is one of quiet, but he is a tremendous competitor.
And the Portland bench has come to play tonight. Duncan against Sabonis goes quickly off the glass.
Yeah, huge quarter for Duncan, 13 in the quarter, and he's keeping him in the ball game right now. Portland's got to really center their defense against Tim Duncan and make somebody else try to score on this possession.
Duncan knifes his way through Willis with the jump hook.
Nice pass from Duncan. It will be important for McGinnis to try to keep up the defensive intensity that Pippen set in that quarter, and that is not going to be the way you start the quarter. Willis over the top. Bowen is hiding in the corner over there, so you got to be aware of Bowen. 10 on the clock.
Pippen makes him put it on the floor. On the give back, Bowen, and a nice screen by Duncan on the give and go.
And didn't get one.
Duncan against Dale Davis. Under 5 to play. Duncan going glass. That is his bread and butter. Never fully had control, but was able to will it into the basket. Blazers in the lead. Parker a 3 to take it back for San Antonio.
Big shot, Tony Parker.
Bowen against Anderson. Under a minute and a half to play.
Well, right here, Duncan wants his shot.
Wallace called for the foul. 2 free throws for Duncan. To shoot. Rasheed will take him to the baseline. Scoop, overlay. Dale in traffic. Sheed for 3. Hit the buzzer. And a loose ball foul going to be called against Portland. And Duncan will shoot for the lead with 2 seconds to play.
Back to Parker, guys.
McGinnis is also out on the floor to start this overtime session.
Well, again, the idea is to keep them off the line and make Tim Duncan make field goals. This is going to go against Dale Davis as Duncan comes across, and, well, their play now is to come through Duncan. Everything will go through Duncan. He'll handle the ball and try to make the plays for somebody else.
Parker off the drive, tough runner. Tony Parker.
Plays well in the big moment. Duncan and Wallace against one another. They come back to Duncan.
Wallace on the move. Or Duncan, I beg your pardon, and gets the Crier to fall. Assist.
You know where the ball is going. You know, the whole point is to keep him from getting it at the outset. Duncan again.
And a foul going to be called against Wallace.
San Antonio.
Pippen looking to drive.
Got that one blocked. And Rasheed Wallace fouled out, but Pippen on the drive, the ball was coming out of his hand, and there's no way that he could get that call. Was in the second chance area for San Antonio.
McGinnis, it's off the mark at the buzzer. So for the snapper, Steve Jones, I'm Pete Pranica. The final score in the Rose Garden. San Antonio defeats the Blazers 116-111 in overtime. Our next Blazers game Saturday live at 7 on KGW television. Stay tuned. Coming up next, the Northwest Sports Report on Fox Sports Net.